an announcement to make. I'd like to speak
So heated.
Speak on what's going on. I was so appalled by my hair from yesterday's video. I saw as RJ was working on editing it, and I was horrified.
It's just so funny because the camera shows your screen.
Yes, but it's so far away. My head is bigger, smaller than my pinky nail. So I was like, I can like see that I was like in frame, blah, blah, blah. I looked so horrendous. Now I want to tell you a story.
You were also sick.
I was also sick. So let's be very clear. I only did that because I was sick. Otherwise I would have put more effort into what was going on. I want to say this though. Months ago, I don't think this person watches the channel anymore, so I feel very comfortable saying this. Oh, that's right.
Someone was like, "This haircut's not this. Your hair doesn't look good here."
Months ago.
Was it a comment or was it a message?
It was a message. It was a direct message on Instagram. This person found me on Instagram, messaged me and said, "Love your content, King." Blah blah blah. I said, "Thanks. It's very sweet." She said, "Just so you know, your hair in the last episode of, I believe it was the Fantasy Boys recap.
Yeah.
Was not it.
Was not it. But love the show."
And I was like, I don't even know what you want me to do with this information.
Do I say thank
you? Do you think I watched that episode? Does she think I watched it and was like, my hair is absolutely serving.
Fucking slay.
I will do my hair for the show. And I'm not.
Yeah.
This is not a professional gig, mama.
Girl, I am on my damn couch. My gout.
He's gouting.
You think this is a professional jaunt?
So this is all to say, before anyone comes into my DMs again, although I'm pretty sure you can't anymore because I have pretty much all of them blocked.
You shut everything down.
I've closed the channels, honey.
You probably should close Twitter too.
It is closed. You can only
DMs?
message me if you.
I mean, just like tweeting too.
Or if I follow you. Huh?
I mean, just like tweeting too.
Oh, I should stop tweeting?
Yeah.
Anyway, don't let me know because I already know that I looked bad yesterday.
Anyway, welcome to Exchange episode 11.
Your haircut.
Yeah, it's very cute. Adam did have to stand at the hallway for like 4 minutes. And then he was like, "Notice anything different?
Anything you want to say?"
And I was like, "Oh, nice haircut." See, Adam's like non-super superpower.
Oh, I'm very good at noticing haircuts.
Adam is like, he notices so right away if someone has had any sort of haircut.
Yep.
And he knows he can tell the difference of all of the Protestant denominations. Like that, honey. He says, bare concrete walls must be Presbyterian.
All right.
Easy to clock.
Okay.
My not superpower is that I eat very well. And so when people eat with me, they also get hungry and want to eat too.
You're a good eater.
Yeah, I'm a good eater. That's my superpower.
As we can see, you are a great eater.
Too good. The purines are
hitting.
When
do you go to the doctor? Tomorrow?
Thursday. I just feel like
Today.
I'm at the doctor right as you are watching this. As this posts at 9 a.m., I am at the doctor
screaming,
getting my blood drawn, baby. Just so they can see that
I still have gout.
My purines have not gone any lower.
And it doesn't seem to be.
Which is funny because I talked about I really don't eat red meat that much anymore. I'll have it once every 2-3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
But it shouldn't. But one little sausage shouldn't, give me give me this. So if there are any gout, my sister's in gout out there.
They're not. There's not. They're not watching this channel.
If there are any berets that also have gout, I don't think so, because
nope.
Most of our berets are
young, virile.
Yeah, their kidneys are processing purines.
Oh, it is the kidneys.
I think so.
Oh, you probably shouldn't drink it all then, right?
I don't drink.
You don't even have wine.
No.
Sometimes.
That's what I'm saying. I'll have a wine like once every 2 weeks or something if we're having a nice dinner. Anyway, welcome to Exchange.
Welcome to Boys Love Exchange.
I am trying
What is that?
this is CBD sparkling water.
Cool.
So maybe this will be
Cool guy. Is it good?
Yeah.
Do you
Prickly pear. Peach
do you
prickly
feel
pear.
like what is Kwang saying Huiyan? Like
Fuck. Yeah.
I didn't say it.
I'm on those. I'm on that AO3 tag. Don't worry.
Do you think
I haven't checked. Is there?
there has to
There
be?
has to be an Exchange AO3.
For some reason, I had the same feeling with his man, where I was like, I know we stan idols,
Period.
and like people will write about
People will
idols,
write yeah.
right? But for some reason, idols feel like within the realm of like, yeah, it makes sense because they're giving you it's a heightened
Yes.
celebrity.
But for dating shows, it's like
blah, blah,
they're
blah.
just real people.
They're
So
regular
it's like,
people. They're gonna go back to their jobs at XYZ.
Yeah. Gelato shop. Doing makeup.
World famous musical genius. Who recently released music.
Yeah. Twitch streamer.
Twitch streamer. Yes.
Now that we've gotten all of that out of our chest,
10 minutes in.
10 minutes in.
Should we start?
Yeah.
So this is the episode 11. So we get the rest of the decisions of the rooms, the personal rooms or X rooms.
Oh, yes.
We get texts for day 9. We get decisions about the girls get their selected dates.
Yes, in a way.
They get to pick their selected dates. That's kind of it.
That's kind of it.
The rest is conversation.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of conversations that need to be had. There's a lot
Absolutely.
of conversations that need to take place
That
before
needed to happen.
we maybe
Some-
leave.
Some could have been a little longer, to be honest. Some should
Some
have
needed
happened.
to be a little longer.
But from
for
the
sure.
preview, it looks like it's going to happen next episode.
There were a lot of X conversations.
Yes, finally.
Well, so there's 4 couples right now that we know on the show. Because there's 6 couples total.
And 3 of them talk. Seokyoung and Juwon are the only ones that...
Seokyeon and Juwon are the only ones that didn't have anything to
They
say
have
to
a
each
little
other.
moment of like being silly because we were like,
Oh,
she's
yes.
playing a dangerous game.
Yes, dangerous game moment.
But they don't like talk about anything. So
Let's start with post last episode. Kwang Tae had chosen Yoo Jung's personal room. So they get to go on a little one-on-one date. And he walks
it's just
up.
like a cafe conversation. It's not really a
Yeah.
date. They get to have one drink, one coffee.
I mean, I would still count it as a date.
I know, but they made it such a big deal of like, oh, I wish this was longer in the other one that happens in this
Oh,
episode.
yeah.
Because in this one, Kwang Tae walks in the cafe. Yoo Jung's already there.
And she's like, great.
Oh, Kwang Tae oppa.
맛있어요.
She was like, obviously, I wish it wasn't him. I wish it was Juwon.
Yeah.
Which then
He does have his bangs down, though, which I
he
like.
does have his, yeah.
Wanted to avoid Kwang Tae. So,
She's saying that she's been actively doing that.
Yes.
She's been actively trying to avoid him.
and she does tell him, this is what, I mean, like we've said before, we'll say it again. Yoo Jung is just very, I don't want to say harsh or abrasive, but she's very like,
She doesn't give a
To the
fuck.
point.
Yeah. She's just like,
she's
I'd
not
rather-
intimidated by any of these guys, which is like incredible. A, because she is technically the youngest, but also B, she like, you just would think that she would be playing a little bit
coy.
more coy, but she's really not. I mean, she's ready to call people out when they need to be called out. And I
Yeah.
think on this season especially, there are guys that really do need to be called out.
Yeah. And I can see
Kwang Tae's one of them.
I can see why Changjin really liked her.
Yeah,
I think
she doesn't. It is weird that she is so young because she really doesn't feel like the youngest on the show. Sangjung seems younger than her.
I know. I think it's just like the energy.
Yeah.
She's just a brighter personality. But she
tells Kwang Tae that women don't like men who are nice to everyone. Which is true. I mean, yes.
Yeah. We should ask a woman.
He's playing the field.
He is playing the field too much, and it comes off as just really disingenuous to the women.
Yeah.
And I think she probably is saying what isn't being said. That like no one's texting you, girl, because you're playing so hard.
Yeah, I think he probably shouldn't have gone on that second date with Seokyoung. I think he was doing it because he was like, oh, she was kind of sick that first date, so I want to give her a fair shot. But
he came in with such a... I don't disagree that like this might be just how Kwang Tae is at dates, where he kind of like is really cheesy.
Yeah.
I can see like that's how he goes on dates, but it just kind of gave a vibe that it's like, I feel like you're like giving me lines. Do you know what I mean? Like this is like a play.
It feels rehearsed.
Yeah.
In a way that like Dongjin, because he has no experience basically, like it's very like charming.
Yeah.
That he's kind of like stumbling. He's not as attractive and as like very charismatic, and I think he seems very like nice.
Yeah.
As all that is, he has kind of no riz whatsoever.
I know, yeah.
And Kwang Tae almost feels like
he's putting on the riz.
Yeah. Putting on the riz. They like kind of make amends to some degree. Not amends. He more just like is like, will you at least give me a shot?
Give me a chance, yeah.
And so she reluctantly
is like, I'll try to be more.
It really does feel like we're watching
open-minded.
someone, you know, at an ATM under duress give their pin to whoever has the gun to their back. I gotta be honest. But like she says she's gonna give him a second thought. I don't know if I just don't believe it.
Yeah, because I just don't know what's gonna happen to Kwang Tae. I'm curious what his ex will do to him. Like, will it really shake him up?
That's the thing.
He feels so reckless right now.
I kind of want them to all get to the house and she's like there.
I know.
In Jeju.
Just
so.
And I
you're the woman who's been sleeping with my husband.
Yes, she's gonna come in as full Addison Montgomery. I think she's gonna be like a physical 100. We've said it last week, but I believe it more now that she's gonna be like, I'm a national handball.
I mean, it would be so cool
if
that was the gag.
Yeah, she's like, I'm like a triple black belt. I run my own martial arts dojo.
Insane. We flash back to the rest of the X rooms.
We pretty much cried the entire segment.
Oh my god. So Dongjin and Dahae both choose their X rooms.
I was really shocked that Dongjin did. But I'm so happy that he chose his
I think everyone made probably the best choice.
I totally agree.
Even where it's like, I just like, the more I thought about it, there was someone who was saying like, if they like felt weird when they were watching Kwang Tae kind of like go through Yoo Jung's stuff. Mm-hmm. And I didn't feel that way in the moment, but I understand why. I guess my whole thing is like, they're already agreeing to be on the show. So that the show's already so incredibly personal that I don't know. But I feel like, even if I was like head over heels with someone and I was like, I totally want to move on from my ex, blah, blah, blah. There's just like there's two things, which I think they really spell out in this episode. I think it is good to be like, let's have the closure. Yes. It feels like it's a chance to do that. And also like,
what did they say in the interviews?
It's number two is what did they say
like the
in the pre-show interview?
What did they say in these interviews about this relationship that catapulted us being in the situation?
It's almost like the chance you have to like listen to how they told their friends.
Yeah.
Because that's always what you want to know. It's like, what do your friends think about
me or what happened?
Right. Because what it's the story that you concocted.
Yeah.
Because within two sides, there's like the truth in the middle or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it would be too juicy. And also, I think I can just like learn organically the personal information about the person I like. I'd rather honestly find out all that stuff through like getting to know them as opposed to being like, I went into a room and I saw your favorite perfume and I know you love the peach emoji or whatever. Yeah. Dongjin and Daihye, I mean, it's very hard to watch. It's so hard to watch that our panel took a 20-minute break.
Take a 20-minute break because they were crying so hard.
Yes. Friedrich also was crying.
Friedrich was crying so hard.
For Dongjin and Daihye. I mean, it was incredibly... There were so many photos. There were so many letters. She wrote to him every single day.
He was in the military.
I don't think it was while he was in the military. I think it was like while he was doing his basic training. She wrote to him every single day. I think that was what they were implying. But like it's 13 years worth of memories that like she and I think they both saved a lot of them.
Yeah.
Because she wouldn't have the letters. He would have the letters. He would have the
letters.
So it's not like it's not like
all of this was Daihye's.
Yes.
It truly is like an ode.
It feels like, of all the couples that we know of on the show, it feels like they were the ones who were like in love.
Yeah.
And I think that's I'm rooting for them to like find happiness in whatever form it takes. I have moved on from my, what was it, episode 3
of like they have to get back together.
Has to get back together. I've moved on from that. I understand.
Because they've really shown that they're trying to move on.
They really are.
Because I think in the beginning it showed that like maybe Dongjin's the only one who really wants to move on and Daihye can't.
Yes.
Or doesn't want to.
Yes.
But I think now we're seeing like, oh, they're just having a really hard time to get past it. But
because
they both want
4 months after a 13-year relationship.
That is the thing. I mean, that's ultimately the question. Will you just... The weight of 13 years really weighs heavily because it's like, do I just give all of that up?
I know. And that's the scariest part for sure. 2010.
Yeah.
I know we've already talked
together.
about this, but
we weren't even. It feels like we've been together for literally for years, forever. Mm-hmm. But that was they were together before we got together.
Yeah.
Before we just barely knew each other.
We had just met when they started dating.
Yeah. We just met. Dongjin kind of tried to put on a strong face and then just got swept up in the emotion. There was that moment where he kind of just like looks around and feels like he's suffocating. There's just so much all of a sudden just in his face.
Oh, it's everywhere.
He like breaks down in that way. In contrast to Daihye, who is like can't even get in the room. Like
she cries as soon as she opens the door.
She cries as soon as she opens the door. Mm-hmm. But then at the end, she is just like standing still in the middle of the room, just kind of like accepting it, like breathing in the room.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting how they're both processing it.
Yeah.
That really makes me think about, it does make sense why they have so many misunderstandings about this experience throughout the episode.
I mean, I don't want to speak on heteronormative culture. I don't know what's going on over there.
I really don't know any.
I don't know a single one.
Good
luck.
Yeah.
But I feel like from all the relationships that I saw, like my friends end, it did always feel like it was like the girl went through a hard time at first, and then as she got better, he ended up like getting worse.
Yes. It's like the men kind of like realize, oh, it's really done. And there are things that I took for granted that are now done.
Yeah.
Which I think women feel more connected right away. You know, they're aware of everything in the relationship. Women.
Yeah.
I agree.
They had that like box in the middle of the room that was just like the phone of their old Finsta, where it was just like hundreds of photos of them together. Yeah. And every single thing had a memory. Like every single
said every single thing in that room, I knew exactly the moment that item, like the story behind each thing.
Ugh. It's so sad. I mean, it's such a tragic story.
Yeah.
Really, at the end of it. Yeah. Let's contrast this to Huiyan and Haewon, who also both pick the X room.
When we say that Dahae and Dongjin's room is overflowing, teeming, literally bursting at the seams of how much
they made a joke about being like their 13-year room is going to need like a second story. Yes. Because like really it needed one.
It needed one. Haewon and Huiyan's room were empty picture frames. 3 letters and like
2 little clipped
two
pictures.
texts and 2 selfies. And
from photos that were Haewon's.
All the pictures were Haewon's. And the 3 letters on the table were letters that Haewon wrote that Huiyan kept.
Yeah.
So ultimately, everything in that room is Haewon's.
They both brought things to the show. I do want to make that clear. But yes.
And even Haewon says it, like when she's in there, I was like, it's all mine.
Yeah.
And made her realize that, like, I don't know why I was so down bad. And listen, I get it.
Cute.
He's cute. He's real so cute. And it's the cute ones that are tough to.
It's the cute ones that are the worst.
Are the worst because you let them get away with everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like us.
Don't choke my dog, please.
I'm not choking him. I'm loving him.
I do think it's funny that she read the letters and then like folded them up and she was like, we can throw these away.
Yeah, she literally was like, you can burn these. PD Nim. She looked so embarrassed.
Yeah.
She was genuinely embarrassed that there is an empty room and everything in there like was because of
because like the X rooms are such a huge part of the show and it's so because didn't they have this last year too?
Yes.
Whose room
was I don't remember the girl's name.
I don't remember
Jihan? Something like that.
Something like that.
But the Tae's girlfriend or Tae's ex went in the room and it was just one photo booth.
God, that's right. It was a 4-strip. Oh my God, that's right. That was iconic.
So that's why she was kind of like, well, now I'm kind of bummed that I went in here because we really didn't have anything.
Yeah.
And it doesn't mean that like you need things to prove that like there's a relationship.
I mean, weirdly,
like,
RJ and I would not have a very full room. Except we would have hundreds of hours of video.
It's just one laptop. And it's just our YouTube.
All the YouTube. But like we're not good about taking photos. You take a lot of photos of me.
Yeah.
But we don't do a lot of like selfies together.
No.
Selfie camera. Mm-hmm. I just learned that. Anything else about Huiyan?
They do watch their videos, but I don't think they gather. Huiyan is still so obtuse because he's like, she was just so cold in that pre-meeting, and then as soon as we came in here, she was like all of a sudden wanted to be with me, and I just don't get it.
And then I made her mad.
Then I made her mad, and I still don't know why.
Goofy. He's so dumb.
So he was like, so I want to go in there to see if I can find out.
And he doesn't. The other thing I wanted to say about Dongjin and Dahae's room, because I don't think Haewon and Huiyan's room is interesting at all, is that Dongjin has a moment where he was like, I realized the things that I said to her toward the end really weighed on her hard. I think it's good for him to realize that, in all honesty.
Yeah. And that's always tough because you say those things, obviously, like they bubble up, right? From resentments that have been there and they're building.
And you start to feel like you have to be more forceful when drawing a boundary.
Yeah.
Where there haven't been boundaries before. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're like, we have to break up, you start to be like, we have to break up because XYZ
because
or whatever.
this.
Sangjong and Changjin are making dinner. She's so cute.
She's so cute. She's like, how do
So
I do
cute.
this? Do we put garlic in this? Like, and everyone, Dahae and Juwon start helping her out. And Changjin does too. Even though they're both...
Dahae and Juwon come into the room and she's like, you can go. I wanted time with Changjin alone in the room. And they were like,
oops, sorry.
Excuse me, girl.
She was like, oh, let me just finish chopping this garlic.
So cute. Yeah. Seokyoung is, like we said, she's playing a very dangerous game.
She's just kind of going at it, touching Juwon, like really
more the same.
Yeah.
I don't.
What does she want? We don't know.
It's weird because I think of all the
girls.
I feel like she is the least talking heads.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like she doesn't explain herself ever. I know they're asking her the questions, but she's just so like tight-lipped about what she's doing on the show.
Yeah.
But she's so expressive in
the normal
show.
setting.
Yeah. It's very strange. Haewon and Seokyoung have a moment in their bedroom where Haewon says that she wants to get to a point where she has the bandwidth to wish her ex Hwee-yeon happiness. She doesn't want to hate him anymore. Mm-hmm. We'll come back to this in a second. Cut to Sangjong, because she had worked earlier in the day. She goes
now it's
to
her
the
time to go
rooms,
into the rooms.
and she chooses the personal room. She's the only other one that chooses the personal room. Okay, so here's my theory. If your ex is not on the show,
you don't feel
like you want to go look at it because you haven't been reminded of anything.
You haven't. Yes, that aspect of the show hasn't hit
correct
for you at all.
So she chooses the personal room. She had chosen Changjin for who she wanted to find out.
This? Because they asked it before, like they asked it earlier.
Yes, I guess so. I guess I'm surprised it was Changjin. Mm-hmm. I'm not surprised that it wasn't Hwee-yeon because he had given her nothing.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer because I actually think they probably
really
would work
couple,
well together.
Yeah.
But I think he's a ding dong. So they go on this one-on-one. She finds like he has tons of jerseys.
He's played like every sport.
He's like sporty guy.
Yeah.
He's she was really impressed by the graph that was like he's had troubles in his life,
but now he's in a steady part of his life.
Right. But she's like, it's good to go through hardship so that you like can get through it and blah 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 blah. They do a whole thing with the perfume again, just like Yoo Jung's room, which led my
your product placement third eye.
My third eye was like, who paid for this?
Yeah.
But it was,
she was like, I bought that same exact one when I went to America.
Yes. So they go on this one-on-one cafe date.
Changjin's kind of gooped. He's
very surprised at Sangjong. I thought they had really cute chemistry.
They do have cute chemistry. Because I do think what Sangjong said when they were making dinner, she was like, I'm having a really good time with him because he's so much more playful than his first impression was.
Yes, because he was so quiet.
Because he was so quiet, which we knew like right away. Because when they showed the X package, we were like, oh, he's like a playful, goofy guy. Yeah. And so I think I want to see that. It's very interesting because that's the part that really connects with him with Sangjong. And then with Dahae, it's like chemistry. It's like chemistry.
Yeah.
So it really is interesting because sometimes people will be like, would I be more interested in someone who like I feel that kind of spark with, or do I want to be with someone that I'm comfortable with?
Well, I mean, he basically alludes to it because they talk about the perfume thing, and he was like, I actually think it's really important if we have a lot of like similarities.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so they both have like the sport thing down. Can we go back to sports real quick? Dongjin and Dahae's room. I'm so sorry to go back. They talk about like how
Liverpool. They're a fan of Liverpool.
Well, he would wait for her at night. He would watch soccer games, and he just started like really liking the Liverpool team. Uh-huh. So then when he went to the military,
she started watching
the games
so they could talk about it.
And they wanted to like go to Europe and go to like a Liverpool. I don't even know anything about Liverpool's team. I don't know if they're good, if they're bad, or they're what. But like, come on. Ugh. You can't write it. Okay.
That's like, I'm trying to equate that to, like if you got into a hobby because of someone and then it's become your thing. Like watching BL.
Yeah, or like K-pop.
Or their K-pop. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know anything like that. Back at the house, Dongjin, Dahye, and Hyewan are upstairs in that upstairs living room.
Yes, and they are loopy ass. Because I think they had to wait for Sangjung's personal room date.
This is like one of the latest nights.
Yes.
It feels
and
like.
then interviews. They haven't been told to start texting yet.
Yeah. Which they have to. They have to
do that.
They basically alluded to the fact that they cannot go to bed until they get the text.
Yes. So I think people will just like take quick naps.
Or I wonder if they like. I wonder if the production team will be like, okay, come back out and come all together because it's gonna come soon or something like that. So yeah, they have like but it's like the first time
we see Dahye and Dongjin like
being in the same room together.
Same room, just like talking.
And they both are. I would say Dahye is doing a very good job of seeming like she did not have a traumatic experience that day.
Yes.
We'll come back.
We'll come back to that. That comes back.
Kwangtae, meanwhile, is third wheeling this Juwon Yoojung moment, and he is feeling incredibly awkward.
He is so sulky in the corner.
So
you can clearly
sulky.
tell because also they let it slip that they went on a date to a rifling.
Yeah,
rifle
the
range.
shooting range. They're just gonna coast to the finale.
You think it's?
I don't think.
You don't think Changjin,
because I think
you don't think their exes will affect them.
I don't. I think if anything, it would. I don't think it would be Changjin. After this episode, I think Yoojung is very set on what she feels about Changjin.
Yeah, I think the conversation helps. I think
Seokyoung, depending on what she does, could change things for Juwon.
Yeah.
But I also think he's like getting wise to her.
He's trying to be convinced to not go back to her.
They do their texts for day 9. Changjin gets a text from Sangjung.
Very cute.
Very cute. Yoojung gets a text from Kwangtae, Changjin, and Juwon. Juwon gets a text from Seokyoung. Because I guess the X room, Juwon gets a text from Yoojung. So this is what I'm saying. They're just gonna walk.
Yeah.
They're gonna Jun Sung-ho to the finale. I swear to God, that's what's gonna happen.
That's your prediction.
That's my prediction. I just don't see now if it was like her and Kwangtae, then I'd be worried because we need to have the X enter the picture.
Yes.
But both X's are here.
So we kind of know the full picture.
Yeah.
What they're trying to work against.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hyewan gets a text from Huiyeon. Dongjin gets a text from Hyewan and Dahye.
Mm-hmm.
And Dahye gets a text from Dongjin. Now let's talk about the
Dongjin Dahye because they are the main characters
storyline
of the whole show. This is their show.
Yeah.
Dahye texts First of all, Dongjin. This is the first time Dongjin has texted Dahye.
This is the first time Dongjin has texted Dahye. And he says,
it's like, thank you for these last gifts.
Yes.
Thank you for the 13. Thank you for liking me for 13 years.
Thank you for liking me for 13 years. I really enjoyed these
last gifts.
Something about the last gifts. These were our last gifts. Mm-hmm. That's what it was. Dahye texts Dongjin
and was like, "Wow, we were really persistent, huh?" Basically, like
yeah, like a little jokey joke.
Yeah, like we were really persistent.
Dahye takes
Dongjin's text as like, "What the fuck were the last gifts?"
She doesn't know if he means the room or
this text you're giving me right now is the last gift you're ever going to give me.
Because I think she's saying the gift is him thanking her for 13 years. Yeah. The gift is me saying thank you for 13 years.
This is it.
This is the last thing I'm ever going to give to you.
Yeah.
Is that the last time you're ever going to speak to me? Like, what does that mean? That's crazy. Which is crazy because I am with Dongjin. I don't think I would have expected her to take it that way. I felt like it was clear, but I can see why misinterpreted
because
it. Totally.
The last text she sent him was basically that what she thought he said to her.
Yes.
Where it's like, this is the last time I'm texting you. Thank you for everything.
Yeah, and then she texted him today, so she didn't really stand on that, did she? Meanwhile, Dongjin is like mad at the word persistent.
Yeah.
This one I didn't understand, so it definitely has to be a translation thing because there has to be like a nuance that I'm like totally not getting. But I think he was also mad that she seemed so chill earlier today.
This text alludes to the fact that he felt that she was not as affected by going to the X room to the point where he didn't even think she went.
He didn't think she went the whole day because she was like so fine. So he was like, oh, she didn't choose it. And then when he got the text and realized she definitely went to the X room today, then he's like, so it meant nothing to you.
Which is so funny.
Which is so crazy because, girl, she moped around for 4 days.
Dongjin, you were the one who was like, I'm really disappointed at her because she can't shake this off and I really want her to try.
Yeah. Goofy ass.
And then all of a sudden you're like, well, it doesn't seem like you're sad enough about our 13-year relationship.
Oh my God.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Oh my God.
But it's like, it's so...
They're so in it. They're so in their heads.
They're so in their heads. The inner saboteur, bitch.
The inner saboteur.
That they're like, but...
I can't believe there's not a drag queen called Inner Saboteur.
Ina Saboteur. Ina Saboteur. Ina Saboteur.
Ina Saboteur. Cut that out. Maybe I'll
you don't want to give that.
Don't want to give that gold away.
I just think that when you are so in it, like they are, you just are so. It's like you're almost doubting that that you know the other person. When you do, you are the only person that knows that other person.
I know.
More than they know themselves.
Yeah.
Like Daya said it, like, I know Dongjin so much more than he does. So that's why it's like,
my God,
I know Dongjin more than he knows himself. That I'm like, that's not what he wouldn't say that if you know what I mean?
I know.
So like, he wouldn't do that. So like,
but at one time she also thought he would never break up with her either. So I don't know. People change. That's the thing too, is like, it's been 4 months. I don't even know who you are anymore. You know what I mean?
Which is crazy because what is 4 months to 13 years, you know?
Oh, everyone else, by the way, Kwangtae, Sangjong, Seokhyung, Huyeon, no texts.
No texts.
They're going to Jeju. They get the letter.
So early.
This is day 10. They're going to Jeju.
So it's like split half and half.
Yeah.
Which I think it's either the panel or the contestants themselves. But they're like, it's nice that it happens immediately after the X room because it's like...
You need a fresh start.
Yeah. You can't sit in this house knowing what you have just seen.
Yeah. Because this is the part of the show where you're supposed to like, it's supposed to be like you go on like a couple's retreat to Jeju to like figure out what the fuck is going on with your relationship. So the girls are going to select the date for the trips, meaning like how it was last year at least. It was like who you traveled with and then you got a date as soon as you get there. So Yoo Jung chose Juwon. No surprise. Sangjong chose Changjin. And Dahae chose Changjin. And then Hyewan chose Dongjin. And Seokhyung chose Dongjin.
I don't know what she's doing.
Huh?
Which is so funny. Like, her and Kwangtae should get together. Because they're...
Honestly. Well, he doesn't even like her.
Yeah, that's true.
Her and we just go for it. Why not? Just go for it. Whatever. Who cares? Honestly, why is Kwangtae... Sorry. Why is Kwangtae not trying to go for Sangjong? I know they went on that little karaoke date.
I feel like there's something there.
Something has to have gone so wrong, or there's just literally zero sparks whatsoever. Yeah. Because they didn't even show us that whole date. They only showed it to like be like, oh, LOL, they're not the old couple, so there's more exes coming. Yeah. That's the only reason they showed it. Otherwise, I don't think we would have ever known that they went on that date.
Yeah.
And Sungjung is so cute. I am
I mean, all of our Patreons have also been like, I am so mad. Why is no one
she is an
obsessing over Sungjung?
Olympic gold medalist. Virtue of that alone, I would be like, I gotta try. Because, sorry, not to describe dating a woman as bagging someone, but imagine bagging an Olympic gold medalist and being like, oh, my Olympic gold medalist girlfriend?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would?
Yeah.
Are you kidding?
And just to be her trophy husband, where she's like, okay, I'm ready to play soccer. I'm like, yes, ma'am.
And he's sporty. It makes no sense. Stupid to me.
There's something they're not showing us.
I don't think it's all there.
Kongtae?
I don't think it's all there.
He seems like a type of person who got away with a lot of things because of his looks.
I think his looks and his
massive.
No, not what I was going to say. His, I think natural charisma.
Yeah.
Because I think he's such an extrovert. So then the boys, if they have two options, they have to choose one of them. So I push back on this a little bit. I push back
because then the girls end up not.
They don't get to select their date.
They're supposed to select. So that's why I was
you had Seokyeon go on 4 dates.
Yeah.
Because she got selected 4 times. So I understand that for this, it would be very hard to be like, okay, go on a date. Sit in between these two girls.
Here's what I wish they did. Was that they were like, Dongjin now has to select which one he'll travel with and which one he'll have the date with
once they get there. That would make sense.
Because the travel, at least it's like you guys are traveling together, but I assume that'll be because last time they were like they got to go eat somewhere first before they go to the.
Yeah, it was a full day.
Yeah,
you basically the whole day is the travel day. Yeah,
and then the date could be the activity when they drop them off to the date.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And then they do an activity.
Yeah.
Which is more like what happened at Change Days. Where their
the exes drove them.
The exes drove them.
Well, not exes, but nearly exes. Nearly. So Changjin ends up choosing Dahae. I think we saw that coming. And Dongjin chooses Hyewan because
yes, he was I think Seokyeong is just looking for someone to have a friend to hang out with.
Yeah.
And
Hyewan texted me yesterday.
And Hyewan, at least there's an actual attraction there.
Or she texted me tonight. Yeah. The girls are finally talking. Let's start. There's kind of 3 big talks that we're going to talk about. Let's start with Dongjin and Dahae. This is the one that has the least amount of talking. Dongjin and Dahae both end up in the kitchen. And Dahae kind of quickly is what did you mean by last gift? What were you referring to? And he was
the room,
flustered.
Obviously.
Yeah, he was flustered. Then people come in, so he leaves to go take. They were heating up some food or something. So he went to take the food to Sungjung. He came back into the room, and she just books it out of the room. She can't even. He doesn't get to ask his question of what did you mean by that? Yes. Why were you so okay today? They don't get to have a full conversation.
Yeah, it's literally. He says that. He says, I mean the room. She starts crying, and he's like, why are you crying? And she says, you're so annoying.
Yeah.
And they just keep going back and forth. Why are you crying? Why am I annoying? You just are. You just are. And then the guys come.
Yeah.
So that's it.
That's
no closure.
No closure whatsoever. I mean, it's frustrating because that one is so clearly just misunderstanding.
I know.
And I don't even know what closure needs to happen necessarily because I'm really not looking for them to get back together. But
they're both putting meanings into things that don't exist.
Right.
So it's not even misunderstanding what will happen next with Hyewan and Huiyeon, where there was an event that happened that Huiyeon needed. Someone needed to. They needed to have the conversation to be told that what you did was wrong.
This is why it's the brilliance of using texting too is because you can't there's no
everything.
way to read it perfectly. No. Because
that's why it's great.
It is really smart.
Yeah.
So that's kind of their storyline. That's kind of where it ends for the episode. Yeah. It's not in a great place. Then Hyewon and Huyeon. So Huyeon's in the kitchen. He's coming out. Hyewon is coming into the kitchen. She pushes him back into the kitchen. It's like, we're talking.
Yeah, he was like, go back inside.
They start talking. People come in again. It's always Juwon, by the way.
He noticed her. Seokyeong was eating the candy again.
Yes,
in the living
candy
room. She noticed it and she was like, you guys really like that candy, huh? Basically.
Yeah.
And Huyeon like notices like, oh fuck, it was the candy. So they try to start talking in the kitchen, but then
Juwon's like,
he's like,
curly head
sorry,
pokes in.
Can I come in? And they're like, oh yeah, we're just talking, it's so hot, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And they do this whole bit where like, oh my God, it's so hot. Let's go upstairs where it's cooler. Yeah, let's go.
And then there's people in the living room upstairs. So they're like, oh my God, it's so hot. So they finally get in the attic and she breaks down and is like, I was mad because blah, blah, blah. They talk about the candy. He was people, I think people online were like, I don't really believe that he didn't know that it was about the candy.
No, I believe that he is
and seeing that reaction where he was like,
yes, because he was like, that's not what I mean. I was trying to boast about you.
Yeah.
Because this means a lot to me. And she's like, I know that.
Stupid.
He's just dumb. I don't think. That is funny. A lot of people online were like, yeah, he did that on purpose. I'm like, no, men are just dumb.
I think he's just dumb.
I think they're just dumb.
I think it's worse.
I think,
unfortunately, I think I would have more respect for him if it was on purpose.
It's the Tumblr meme that was like, are they dating? And the reply is worse.
So they kind of sort it out.
Yeah. And he kind of
sort out the candy at least.
Yes. He reaches out his hand to kind of like apologize. He had his finger out.
He did not have it. Okay. How I interpreted it.
Because he was like reaching out like this.
I think he was like, I don't think it was like to reach out to touch her hand. I think he was just like expressing with his hands and was like, da, 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 da.
And she like taps.
And she like goes for it.
Yeah.
She is the one who's like.
But then she's the one who grabs it back and was like, wait, why?
Right.
Which I've noticed is like, that's how she doesn't want to say the thing she wants to say. She wants she wants Huihyun to admit the things that he's wrong about. Or
I just don't think he's going to. And I still don't think he's at a place where he's going to.
And it goes back to this whole thing of like, maybe if he's more mature. I don't think it's maturity. I think he's just simple.
I mean, I think part of it is maturity, but I do think he's dumb. I mean that in a very kind way, but he's not picking up the clues. But she is also like clues heavy.
Yes.
Everything's clues.
Everything is a clue for her.
Everything is like Mrs. Peacock in the ballroom with the candlestick, bitch.
She's
she's Milton Bradley fish.
Which like, I don't think this is what she wants, obviously, but I think she's just fallen into this pattern based on their relationship.
Yeah.
That it's like, I need to present it to you and then you have to realize it.
Yeah. I do. I mean, she also, I think, seems the youngest of everyone on the show, even though she's not. And I do think there is like an immaturity in her way she navigates relationships.
Yeah.
So we go later into this conversation where they're back upstairs in the living room and she like
goes to his laptop.
She goes to his laptop. She leaves him a note that says, I hate you. That's funny.
Yeah.
And then he like notices
so playground, right?
It's so neggy.
Yeah.
And like, they get into this like
but he
kind
keeps
of like
falling for it, or like
there is a charm to it.
Yes.
But it cannot be, it can't be the whole relationship. Yeah. That is when it gets like so exhausting. So then they get into this back and forth of like, why are you, what is she doing? Because he finally says it like, you were so cold in the pre-meeting and then all of a sudden in this house you like keep like just trying to get in. Like, right.
Yeah.
It's so hot and cold. and you keep losing your mind. And he says that she's very unattractive.
He says it's very, the translation is like, you're very unattractive.
Yes, right now.
Right now.
Yeah.
I understand what he's saying. It's like, it's not becoming of you. Like, it's just not.
Why? Yeah.
This isn't what I like about you. Yeah.
A brat. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, in that regard, they're made for each other.
I know. But the entire time, Adam and I were like, sometimes you don't have to say that.
Sometimes, I mean, she does fully clock that he likes Seokyoung. And he can't say no.
And he can't say no because he is caught.
He doesn't,
I mean, fully
to his credit, he doesn't want to lie to her.
That's true.
So he's just trying to evade it. And she is not letting
I
up.
know, because she's fully like, I talk to her every night.
She's my roommate.
She's my roommate, and we talk every single day. So, we comfort each other. And so I could, just so you know, like, I could tell her that I know that you like her. Because you do, right?
You like her? Regina George. You like Aaron Samuels?
Maybe they are made for each other. Maybe they should be together.
Maybe they should be together. Have fun. Last one. Changjin. Finally, after hours, he is like, we have to talk before we go to Jeju.
Yes.
I have to talk to you.
He's been drinking with Juwon, and
he got here 2.5 days ago. They haven't had a conversation.
He's drinking with Juwon and Yoojung.
Dahye is also there.
Dahye is there. She kind of joins in.
They do like a little bit of a fight. They ordered hot chicken, blah, blah, blah. They have a little bit of a fight.
When they were ordering hot chicken, because that's when Juwon was like leaving, and they were waiting to order hot chicken. That's when the first time they really talked as exes, because they were like, what do you want? Like, what do you always get? Blah, 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 blah. Like, it's just, that's my favorite part of the show, is when the exes are alone, even for a second, and they just let it go.
Yes, they drop the mask.
They drop the mask, and they just kind of start, it's always bickering.
Well, because I do think because there are such social strictures in place for Korean culture, I do think they kind of find it fun that they have to revert back to being like, what? Oh, am I able to drop honorifics with you? Like,
yes,
they like that role play of that.
And then as soon as Juwon leaves, they're fully like, get your own damn chicken. Yeah.
So then later, they are with Dahye, and they're talking about how they are with their exes.
Yes, how they feel with their exes.
Yes.
And Jung is just blatantly asking questions out loud of well, I don't really care about I wasn't really fazed by my ex being here.
Yeah.
How about you, Changjin?
She's goading him so bad.
And Dahye is just
she knows.
She knows, and Yoojung figured it out here that oh, Dahye knows.
Yeah.
Because she's kind of...
It's so obvious.
So obvious.
So then finally at the end of the night,
Dahye was like, I'm gonna go to bed.
Yeah.
And Yoojung was like, me too. And she was like, girl, no, you're not. She literally says, no, you're not. I'm going to bed. So that they can finally talk. Mm-hmm. Which I do wonder if I think Dahye gets a kick out of it because she wants to be able to, she wants that, I think. But it's too... She tried today and it didn't work out. She wants to be in a place where we can joke around this.
Yes.
And know that if Dahye leaves, they can have a serious conversation about what's going on.
Yeah, yeah.
She knows she can't do that right now.
Right. So they go outside, Changjin and Yoojung.
Changjin are you cold? Here, just wear this jacket. He takes it off and he's like, wait, can I do this? Because it's what if someone catches them, obviously?
Yeah.
They do. They go outside. I loved this talk.
I think okay, so I started the talk in one place, and then this whole time I had assumed that Yoojung was the one that instigated coming onto the show.
Yeah.
The whole time. So then as Changjin has been she's been ignoring me, I was on his side of being well, I understand why he's upset because she was the one who asked him onto the show. And why would you do that? If you, again, I don't understand these people that bring their ex on the show, but then you're have no will whatsoever to want to
get back
together with them. I think that should be part of the show, but whatever, it's fine. We come to find out in this conversation that he is the one that asked her to do the show. Mm-hmm. And that if he hadn't asked her,
Would they have even? Would he have talked to her again?
He made a reference like, "This is the only reason I'm talking to you is because of the show," and she took it as like, "That's the only reason you're talking to me," and he more meant it as like, we had like talked about not wanting to speak to each other. I want to
respect that.
I want to respect our boundaries.
And she's like, "But I literally, you didn't speak to me."
But then the ghosting.
But then the ghosting happened.
Yeah.
So she
left on red.
Yeah,
not
she said, "But you left me on red."
Yeah.
So like now I don't know. Like, would you have even if we didn't do the show? Would I have just been left on red forever?
Right. She talks about how she had read that from the X room. She had read that last message again. She was like, "I just don't want to go back to that place," and I think it's really important for them to have that conversation. And she feels so like, I know what I want. Like,
I don't want to go back.
I'm happy for you. Whatever you want to get out of this, that's totally fine.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter to me. I'm not here to get back with you. Like, it's like it's pretty clear as day that that's how she feels. And to Changjin's credit, he doesn't feel very pushy. Like, it doesn't. I think he wants this conversation. Yeah. But I think it gave him a lot of clarity as to where she's at. And like, he's made mistakes like that. There is a level that you can't. And like, unfortunately, that's the things like that you learn and go from. Like, he says, like, I didn't want to put all these burdens of what was going on with all my stuff onto your shoulders. That's what I was trying to save you from.
And then she was like, "But I told you to not do that.
Right.
I told you that you shouldn't do that.
Right.
And you still did it.
And you still did it anyway." And now he's suffering the consequences. And like, it sucks because it's not just like, oh, now you get a detention, right? Like, it's the consequences are like you potentially lose out on the great love of your life, right? Like, that's what's like so heartbreaking about it. But also like, there are a billion fish in the sea. There's actually 7 billion fish in the sea. And not everyone's going to like you, but the chances of meeting someone new are when you're like handsome and whatever, and you know, you have stuff going for you, like he'll be okay. It just hurts that it's like I think he feels a lot of guilt that he knows that he messed up this one. I totally understand why he's bummed out, but I am so impressed with Yoo Jung.
Yeah.
She is so impressive on the show.
Yeah.
She is navigating this so efficiently.
It feels like she's seen enough of these shows. It feels like she watched the first 2 seasons and is like, but not going into it being like, this is how I'll be.
That's why I was like, oh, she had to have. I mean, she probably did watch the other show. They were very popular in Korea, blah, blah, blah. But that's why I was like, oh, she wanted to be on the show. So like, to find out that she was the one who got asked is like more interesting because like,
that's just
she's just handling this so well. And I don't think it's been 100% easy for her. I do think she has had those hard points, like in the last episode when Changjin finally like comes and she like has to grapple with like him actually being in the room with her. Yeah. And I totally respect all of that. And I think that like she's just so like clear-eyed about like kind of, it's really like who she is and like how much value she has in herself. And I think that's what's like the most impressive part about the whole thing.
Because I think
she's like, I'm worth more than what
what this relationship was, which I don't think gets. That's not really a thing that a lot of people really struggle getting to that point after a breakup.
Yeah,
because you attach so much of your own self-worth in the success of the relationship.
Correct. Totally. It's hard. It's so hard, but I mean, that's why it's so fascinating to watch. I mean, it's like, I don't want to put too much on the show, but it
feel like a dating show. It feels like,
I mean, it feels like I'm watching like Shakespeare. Like at times it's so big. It's so, the feelings that, I mean, we're talking about literal love. Like what Dongjin and Dahae experienced
is real love.
That is like Romeo and Juliet shit. Like that's like the great.
They're like they were a hidden relationship for almost like what 9-10 years,
right? And I think there is like a level of people realizing that like you also can grow out of love, and it's not just it's a lot of work. It really is. A lot of work. Let me
I
tell
see.
you about this.
And is the work here in the room with us today?
I don't know. Please ask the 4 tripods or the 2 microphones and the uploading videos. We're just colleagues.
And that's it. Once again, the preview was so goop and gag. They're in Jeju. Dae and Dongjin are visibly arguing. Sangjung is crying.
Sangjung is crying.
Crying outside.
Being like, should I
saying
just
like,
leave?
I wish I could go.
I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
I don't like that.
Because
I'm going to be very honest. I will be very upset with this show if she leaves early.
Yeah.
Because she is... I just said the whole thing about Yoojung. Sangjung is my favorite character on the show.
Yeah.
She is such a breath of air.
Yeah.
After like all of the she's just really good at like being like the room cannot be like this.
The room can't be like this. Let me switch it up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The Straits. We'll keep watching.
See you next week.